Ahead of the busy summer wedding season, the website Pinterest releases an annual wedding report. There were over 3.8 billion wedding-related searches from May of 2024 to April of 2025, and more than 13.4 billion wedding ideas saved globally in that year. It is big business, but it's also a special day. Today on Blue Sky, we are talking wedding trends, whether it's Vegas for a stag or stagette, booking a tattoo artist to come to your reception, or having a specially catered snack bar at the end of the night. We're hearing what's in and what traditions are being left behind. We're going to chat with a wedding planner and a photographer. We also want to hear from you. What's the coolest thing you've seen at a wedding lately? Maybe you're a marriage commissioner, a photographer, a baker, a caterer. Call 1-800-716-2221 or email us bluesky@cbc.ca. Okay, so what got us thinking about this? A few things. One, full disclosure, I'm getting married in just over 2 weeks. The other, though, is a story that our news team told you about in late July. Kelsey Bone and Scott Pominville had been together for 7 years before they got engaged on Mount Everest last September. How do you top that? Well, July 3rd, the couple from Regina, they tied the knot on Mount Kilmanjaro, which is the highest mountain in Africa. We caught up with them to hear about it.
You may kiss the bride.
So he proposed on, there's this big rock at base camp and somebody's painted on it Everest Base Camp. So that's kind of the landmark that people will get their photos taken at. So if he was going to propose, I figured it might happen on this rock because this is kind of the telltale of base camp. But I didn't think he would propose right away. So we get on this rock and I think we're going to be posing. So I'm up there and I'm doing a couple poses because I think we're going to get some photos, and then look to my side and there he is down on his knee. Like, where do I put the ring? What hand does it go on? What finger? That was all lost in the moment. The only thing I knew was yes.
Yeah, so I was really worried about Kelsey finding the ring. I didn't take a ring box or anything. It was just in a little plastic Ziploc bag. And I stuck it somewhere I hoped she wouldn't look, and luckily she didn't look.
Two of our good friends, shortly after we got back from base camp, they said, we're doing Kilimanjaro next year. Feel free to join us. And so we were like, well, yeah, we're coming. Yeah. It's funny, they were the ones too who were pushing us to elope there. They thought it'd be really neat. And I was thinking, no, I don't want it to overshadow their trip at all. And as soon as I said that, they sent back a screenshot that he got ordained, and they're like, just do it. In our tent before leaving, I had put my dress on underneath all my layers. I tucked it into my rain pants and then hiked the whole 7 hours up in my wedding dress under all my layers. So our friend who married us, he had put together a speech and he said, like, we don't know how weather conditions will be up there, so I have a 5-minute version or a 1-minute version. And he looked at me and said, you tell me which one to do at the top, it's your call. And as soon as we got to the top, and it's like, yeah, it's the 1-minute version. It is freezing up here. 1-minute version's all we need. I was one of those kids that actually never dreamed of my wedding. I never pictured myself in the big dress or anything. And so that was, yeah, this was absolutely perfect. I figured I'd always kind of end up eloping or something like that. Kind of combining adventure with love. And yeah, so that was it.
That was Kelsey Bone and Scott Pominville from Regina. The couple got married July 3rd on Mount Kilmanjaro, the highest mountain in Africa, and they are from Regina. So not everyone is going to those extremes, but let's find out what's popular, shall we? Joining me in studio are two people very familiar with the wedding industry. Angela Hodel. I was going to give you an extra syllable there, is the owner of Imagine Events, an event and wedding planning company in Regina. And Caitlin Trope is usually part of our morning edition team, but she's also a talented photographer based in Lumsden. Thanks for being here, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Okay, Angela, you started your business in 2009. Mm-hmm. The business has evolved a little since then.
Yes.
Tell me, what were people focused on when you first started planning weddings in 2009?
Oh man, I think people are focused on the same things that they're focused on now. It's just you watch wedding trends and things change over the years. Back in 2009, we were having vibrant colors and people were getting married and their colors were, chocolate brown and hot pink and that type of thing. And now everything is, more muted colors and lots of neutrals and natural greenery and that kind of thing. So it's really interesting to see how things have changed and evolved in the past, 15 years.
What, when it comes to wedding planning, when people come to you, how much do they already have figured out?
It depends. So, we offer a lot of variety of services. When someone's coming to us and wanting help planning their entire wedding, they've usually got, the date, maybe the venue, and pretty much nothing past that because they're really looking for help planning their whole entire wedding, finding the vendors that are going to suit their needs and within their budget. But we also offer coordination services. And in that case, a lot of people have some of the details picked out, maybe a few of their key vendors, and we kind of start working with them when they're, 2-3 months out from their wedding to just really solidify all the details, because a lot of people have difficulties with that because there's so many things, behind the scenes and making that timeline and everything seamless. So
let's talk about vision versus reality, because social media really can influence the way things are right now. When people come to you with a vision versus reality, how different are those from when you start to when you finish?
It's very different. A lot of people will make that dream Pinterest board, but people don't really the cost of things. So when they're looking at those beautiful pictures of those floral arches, they want that big floral arch. And then when they get stamped with the, $3,000 to $5,000 cost from the florist of making that beautiful arch, they're a little shocked, So I think that's one of the key things that couples have to focus on is that, Pinterest and social media, while those are beautiful pictures, that might be a staged photo shoot or, something that's going to be way out of your budget. So it's just keeping that reality in mind, and they're just inspiration. Talking
about money, though, what are the top 3 things that cost more money than people think they do?
Catering and, like food and beverage services are the most expensive thing that you're going to pay for at your wedding just based on your guest count. Like cost of food is expensive. The stuff that you buy at the grocery store, now amplify that by a professional chef making it, right? So that's probably one of the most expensive things. And also I think photography and videography is also very expensive. I think it's a lot more expensive than people think it is, just because there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes that people don't realize. It's the editing post event that takes up all the time.
Mm-hmm. We will talk budgets in a second, but Caitlin, I want to bring you in on this because Angela touched on the Pinterest boards. We've got TikTok. We've got Instagram. We've got Reels. You're a photographer. How much does social media influence what people are asking for in terms of photos and presentation and what they expect from a photographer the day of?
Yeah, I've been thinking about this a lot. And I think reflecting on that, I think social media is telling you what you should want at your wedding. It's like you should want this big magical moment, or you should want your groom or your partner to be crying at the altar waiting for you to come up, or you should all these different things. But I think like the reality is, and what I try to tell the wedding clients and the couples that I work with is that like at the end of the day, like the day should run the way you want it to, not the way social media wants it to. I think with photos in general, I think in some ways people are leaning more for that like social media moment rather than the photos that they print off and put on their wall. I know that people still do print photos off and put them on their wall, but not to the extent that, like, I know my mom has her entire wedding printed off in a book. We can flip through it whenever we want. And I got married 3 years ago and I have maybe 8 photos printed off. It's just such a different world we live in, where maybe I've shared the equivalent on social media or whatever, but I don't have that physical book yet. I mean, I'm going to one day when I have the time and attention span to go through, thousands of images that my photographer gave me. But I think that's really what it comes down to it for me, from seeing it from that side. Social media is really just, you should want this kind of thing.
Okay, we are talking trends today on Blue Sky, wedding trends. What's the most interesting thing you've seen at a wedding lately? Is there something you wish you would have done differently, maybe added or taken away from your day? Call 1-800-716-2221 or email us bluesky@cbc.ca. I'm going to read a text message that I received from my mom's cousin, Daryl. His wife is a marriage commissioner. He says Leah began doing weddings when she was still a lawyer and became a marriage commissioner to do the ceremony for her legal assistant. Since then, she's done them for people she has some connection with. Often I go along. I've helped brides get that pesky back zipper up, done crowd control for the entry, as wedding party needs to be staggered so they don't look like a bunch of 5-year-olds on a soccer field. I've also been a microphone stand, holding a mic at an outdoor wedding, strategically moving between the couple and the commissioner as they spoke. Just call me multi-talented. I think that goes back to some of what you were talking about, Angela, with all of the moving pieces. Do you find that weddings are less simple these days?
Yeah, I think it's just because a lot of people want to include more unique items as part of their wedding. So you see, from my point of view, there's a lot more vendors involved in the wedding day. You know, you're not just dealing with a caterer and a photographer. We've got, a lot of different pieces, different additional people that are coming and providing unique services that also we have to, direct or manage those details as well.
I want to talk about the different vendors involved in just a moment, but first I want to go to the phones because we do want to hear from you today. 1-800-716-2221. 1-800-716-2221. I almost gave you an extra 2. Or bluesky@cbc.ca. Lana's on the line in Regina. Hi, Lana.
Hi there. Speaking of vendors, I'm actually the owner of a vending company called Mobile Mixers Bartending Services based out of Regina. We worked alongside Imagine Events quite a few times in the past over the years. Hi, Angela. And they've always been fantastic to coordinate with and everything. But I just wanted to call and give a shout out to all the mobile bartending companies across Saskatchewan because a lot of people don't even realize this is a service you can hire for weddings and other events. And weddings are one of our specialties. By the end of this season, we'll have done close to 40 of them. So it's been a busy summer for us. But just to give you some idea, like some of the big benefits of hiring a bartending company, one is we help take the guesswork out of the bar setup and guide you on what and how much to purchase for your bar. Some companies even supply the mix, the ice, the glassware, and the garnishes. You get the peace of mind knowing the bar is being run by responsible and professionals instead of volunteers like your uncle and your cousins. Mm-hmm. But we also bus tables throughout the event to help things keep tidy, and it's one less mess for you to deal with the next morning. Plus, skilled bartenders can make any cocktails you want for your big day, and we bring the energy all night long while we do it. And some companies even roll up with a full mobile bar trailer, which is always a fun touch. So, yeah, just a little plug for the mobile bartenders around Saskatchewan. It's a great option that sometimes gets overlooked. And I know there's some fantastic companies in Regina, in Saskatoon, and even Estevan as well.
Lana, curious, there's so much attention to detail in weddings these days. One I have noticed in attending weddings is signature cocktails. Is that something you get a lot of requests for?
Absolutely, yeah. We'll usually have 1 to 2 at every event. A wedding we did a couple months ago, they had 8 specialty cocktails. 8's a lot. 1 to 3 is a nice touch, but yeah, and they're super easy to make. Like once you get the first 3 under your belt, then yeah, it's not a problem. We make it work.
And how do you service the non-alcoholic crowd that still wants the fun drink, but maybe doesn't want the booze?
Well, we also suggest having a mocktail option as well. We always recommend having a non-alcoholic option, whether it be a beer. There's lots of non-alcoholic cocktail options out there now, like Olays do one, White Claws do one, and even if you have, you can make a jug of like a mocktail, which can easily be turned into a cocktail with an extra shot or something like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, even the people who don't want to drink, it's really easy to cater to them as well.
All right, Lana, thanks so much for calling in.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us. Yeah. Bye, Angela. See you soon.
Okay, that was Lana from Regina. We'd love to hear from you. Maybe you're a vendor. We'd love you to spill the tea, some of the things that you've been involved in working on weddings. 1-800-716-2221 or email us bluesky@cbc.ca. Lindsay emails us. She says, good morning. I'm a wedding photographer from Moose Jaw. The most popular wedding trend I've seen this year is Monday to Friday weddings and themed weddings. I just photographed an elopement at the tunnels on Moose Jaw in the saloon on a Monday, as well as a costume party reception. This year, a lot more people are struggling and going with more reasonable rates during the week. Angela, is that something that you're seeing a lot more of? Is people getting married on a weekday?
Absolutely. We were actually just talking about that earlier. I've done a record amount of weddings on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays. I don't know what the trend is, but it is becoming more trendier, and maybe that's just because people are factoring in cost. It might be cheaper, or alternatively, they are getting a better selection of the vendors that they want, because most vendors are booked up on Saturdays because that is the most popular date. So this way they're allowing to get the vendors that they want on a weekday.
Did you think about the question I asked you earlier?
I did. I can't think of like any bananas things that I've seen at any of the weddings that I've been to. The only one I can remember is
your own?
My own. Yeah. Well, if you want me to talk about my own, we tried to save money as much as we could. Mm-hmm. We actually got like a vegetarian collective kitchen because my wife's a vegetarian to cater. And it went pretty well, except for all my relatives from Alberta who were grousing about not having meat. But, they were cheap, so there's that.
All right. Thanks, David.
You're welcome.
All right, that's the CBC's David Shield. He'll be back at 1 o'clock with a full newscast. I'm Sam McKeag. Today we are talking about wedding trends in 2025. Angela Hodel and Caitlin Schroep are my guests today. Angela's a wedding planner. Caitlin is a photographer. And we are talking about all things weddings. Angela, let's talk budgets. Because as we've heard, some people really are trying to cut back, watch the costs. Others, the sky is the limit on budgets. Is there a common amount that people kind of shoot for? Is there a common budget?
Yeah, and I mean, it differs throughout the entire province and throughout the entire country, to be honest. In southern Saskatchewan, your average budget is going to be somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000, and that's completely dependent on having your wedding in a small town hall in comparison to having it at a fancy hotel. So, and amount of guests, of course, greatly can determine that. But there are still people out there that are wanting to get married for $10,000. And it is doable, but you really have to stick to a budget and factor in your wants and needs.
And priorities, too, in that
Absolutely.
case, right? What is the one piece of advice you give to people in terms of the thing that typically you would suggest they spend more on?
I always suggest, at the end of the day, when everything is said and done, the only thing that you're going to have left is your memories and your photos and your videos, right? So that's one area that I always recommend not scrimping and saving on. So, if you're going to have a small budget, that's the thing that you should spend the most money on. Of course, unless photos and videos are not important to you, then that's okay too. But that would be the area that I usually recommend.
In terms of asking for gifts, because there's always a registry or whatever for weddings, have you seen an increase in people finding a way to politely ask for cash over gifts?
It's usually in the card. Right? If they say please don't bring gifts. And you also have to factor in most couples now are not, 20 years old, right, getting married, leaving mom and dad's house. A lot of couples are getting married older now. People in their late 20s, early 30s, they already live together. They're already established. So you kind of see people moving away from registries because they have all their house stuff. Mm-hmm. So they're usually putting, in their card or on a website, a cute kind of poem or something that says, we have everything we need. Please no gifts. Should you feel the need to bring a gift, please bring a gift card or cash, and they can use it towards a honeymoon or something that they really need together as a couple.
Okay. I want to go to the phones. Marvin is on the line in Carrot River. Hi, Marvin.
Oh.
I hear you have a story for us.
Well, a little one, yeah. I'm I'm a farmer, so I grow sunflowers. So our daughter grew up loving sunflowers, and that was her floral design at the wedding was all decorated with blooming sunflowers. But,
Beautiful.
Anyway, the most unique part of the wedding was she also participated in Regina's belly dancing club, and she invited 3 ladies to come and entertain during the reception.
Oh, cool.
And her being a part of the belly dancing group, then she did a solo belly dance for everybody at the reception, and I've never seen that before in my life. But
Did you get up and join your daughter?
for belly dancing, no.
Hey, I don't know. Maybe you're super down with
I
whatever.
did dance with her, but I didn't belly dance with her. No, that was. I had to watch that. That was amazing, actually.
I will say, Marvin, as I'm also in my other life a marriage commissioner, and some of the most beautiful weddings I've been to have been on farms when they really lean into, the landscape that they're surrounded by. Lots of wood, lots of natural colors. So I love that your daughter really leaned into that and that you got to have that special connection to your life and your family in that way.
And the other thing, I saw birch lumber, so she requested all these circular birch things on the tables with candles in them, with birch bark everywhere and sunflowers, and it was quite the decor she had.
Sounds like it was a great time.
Okay.
Thanks for telling us about it, Marvin. Okay, that leads me to my next question, and I'm going to ask you about this, Caitlin, because as a photographer, you have to be everywhere at all times and seeing things. Let's talk dance trends. Does the couple come out and sway in a circle for a song now, or are we seeing more choreographed numbers from people?
I've definitely seen more choreographed numbers, but there are the few couples that just stand and sway. I mean, that's what I did. I didn't choreograph any crazy dances. But yeah, I've definitely seen more, which has made the first dance photos a little bit more fun. More opportunities for different types of photos rather than just kind of standing and swaying and smiling at each other. When you get I had one couple was doing a lot of lifts or these kind of things. Like, that was kind of fun, something new to photograph. And then when it comes to just like other dancing, I've seen maybe a tiny bit of a decline in parents' dances. Like, sometimes I've just seen just the first dance happen and then go straight into the party. So, yeah.
Do you see, I've seen this on the TikTok and the Instagram. What about the father-daughter dances or the mother-son dances? Are we seeing more creative choreography here too, or is that just something we're seeing online that isn't actually transferring to real life?
I think that Saskatchewan is usually a couple years behind things like that.
Angela's nodding along.
I have not seen any crazy choreographed dances with parents, but I know that they do exist. I have seen them online. So maybe in a couple years, someone in Saskatchewan will start that trend.
Cool. Okay, we got an email from Jenna. It says, best wedding I've ever been to. My cousin got married in Australia and everyone had to travel to be there. Family, bridal party, close friends got to stay at the farm on site. Everyone else was in town. They arranged buses to get everyone to and from the venue. Friday night was family supper and drinks. Saturday was wedding day. The boys went out and played golf at the course out back while the girls got ready. There was a cute little trailer that did wine and beer before the ceremony. I don't remember the decorations or the food. What I remember is that was one of the best parties ever. The bride and groom just wanted to dance and spend time having fun. 2 of the groom's friends wrote a song they performed about the groom as a speech. Then it was Sunday breakfast before everyone packed up and left. The fun of it was an entire weekend of everyone wanting to be there to celebrate. That gives the good vibes. That gives the good feels. How often, Angela, are you seeing people writing songs or writing special things now to individualize their special day?
That again, that's one of those trends that you don't see very much Sometimes they'll have, a friend that will play music, as part of their ceremony or something like that. But you don't see very much people, creating custom songs or doing anything like that. Earlier this year, I did a wedding for a couple, and they both played the saxophone. So the two of them at their own wedding did a saxophone duo performance. And so,
that's fun.
Yeah, and so those are those really cool, unique things that couples can do as part of their wedding. But you don't, as far as music is concerned, you don't see it that often.
Okay, what are people ditching? What are people still getting married in churches? Are we still seeing the bouquet tosses? I mean, obviously some people are still getting married in churches, but what are some of the Saskatchewan old traditions that we just aren't seeing as much of?
Well, I mean, obviously the bouquet toss and the garter toss out the window. A lot of people don't want to do that. And if they are doing one of those, it's just the bouquet toss because the garter toss is kind of creepy. So, they kind of ex-nay that. But, some of the other things is people are really limiting toasts. And I do see a lot of people not wanting to do the cake cutting. Or if they are serving cake, it is literally just for a picture, and they'll get just a small 6-inch or 8-inch cutting cake. They will cut it for the sake of the picture, but they don't actually serve it or do anything with it. Maybe they take it home, eat it the next day. But those are some of the biggest trends that we see kind of leaving.
Are you seeing any of? Would you agree with that?
I would definitely agree. One thing that I've seen in replacement of a bouquet toss is they got custom wedding merch and they tossed shirts into the crowd, which was kind of fun. I've also, with the cake thing, I think it's still happening. People are still getting cakes, still getting the pictures taken. But more interesting desserts, I think, have started coming up. I've seen tables full of aunts cooking, different baking. I've seen just a couple weekends ago, the bride and groom got over 100 Dairy Queen blizzards for their dessert.
Ooh.
And that was honestly the best treat you could probably have after a hot wedding day. But it's just seeing all these really cool and different, unique ways. I've seen people do those frozen ice cream little treats, things like that. So that's kind of more fun than a cake anyways.
Kate sends in an email. My in-laws will be celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary this fall. I'm helping my spouse with planning, and we're trying to think of fun or unique ideas or activities outside of the common ones like the shoe game. Any suggestions you've seen from other anniversary celebrations or weddings would be greatly appreciated. Do you have any ideas, either of you, the things you've seen?
The only thing I can think of off the top of my head, which was a fun way for couples to get photos with everybody at the wedding, is to either do, I don't know what the game is called, but you put on a song and either the couple runs from table to table to table and you all take a photo with each group of people, or the bride and groom will, stay in a chair kind of up at the front on the dance floor, and then groups of people will kind of come in a line to try and get it all done within 3 minutes or something in the time frame of a song, and that's been fun. The shoe game is always fun, but it definitely, in some ways, I think it's a little overdone. But
have you actually seen a wedding finish getting all those pictures done in a song?
I did it.
Really?
Yeah.
I went to one last summer, and I swear it went on for 4 songs because there were so many people, and people wanted to hug and say hello, and they didn't understand the assignment of get in and get out. Do you have any ideas?
I would say for an anniversary, it would be super fun if the couple still has their original wedding dress or something like that, to use it in a certain way. I've done other anniversaries where they've had the daughter of the couple wear surprise, take the dress out and wear the dress, that type of thing. Just fun ideas to pay, I guess, to do a throwback to their original wedding day.
I am a photo person, but I think something that also can be really special is an anniversary photo shoot where you can kind of just reimagine your wedding day and how you would want it today. I think that'd be really fun and romantic, not necessarily happening at the party, but something that would be fun.
Okay, we're talking about outfits and clothing a little bit here. How big or small is the trend in bridal parties? I have seen some with 7. And I've seen some with none. So what is the trend, Angela, in terms of size of bridal party?
If we're being honest, it's kind of all over the place. I've done weddings this year where we've got 10 groomsmen and 10 bridesmaids. And to me, that's that's a lot of opinions and people to deal with. But, if you have that many amazing friends and family that you want to include as part of that, that's awesome. And then I've done other weddings where they have one or two or none. So I think it really depends on each individual couple is and what their kind of goal for their special day is.
I think also I've seen anywhere from 0 till I think there was on the groom side there was 9 guys, and then on the bride side there was only 6. So I think one thing that is a trend is not necessarily having equal on both sides of the ceremony. I think that's been really interesting and kind of fun. As someone who is not the biggest fan of the formal bridal party portraits, you all stand in a line and you smile at a picture. It's kind of fun having like an uneven amount of people. You can do like creative things, or you don't have all the people in dresses on this side and the people in suits on this side, or however they do it. I've also seen for bridesmaids' dresses a lot of not like everybody has a different color on, or they have a different style in the same color. That part's kind of fun. Gives the girls a chance to kind of wear something that they feel more comfortable in.
You're not stuffing everybody into the same dress, regardless of if you're like 5'2" or 6 feet tall, or a size 2 or a size 24. At least this way you can pick something that you're excited to wear.
Absolutely.
And wear it again if you get something that you can wear again.
Does anyone ever wear the bridesmaid's dress again, Angela?
I would say probably not.
You would hope so.
I mean, we all want to say, oh, yeah, you just cut it short or wear it again. No, they never do. But the other thing I wanted to mention, too, is when we're looking at bridal parties or wedding parties, having all the same gender. Why are we doing that? If the groom wants to have his sister as his, best lady, absolutely, right?
It really is just your witness or whoever your person is that's going to be signing typically.
Whoever your special people are your special people.
It's so much more fun and more special too when it's not just all the girls, all the guys. I was just at a wedding where there was the man of honor instead of a maid of honor, and he was awesome, and it was great to have something fun and exciting and different, and
How many dresses does the bride wear?
I mean, okay, because we're like talking budget friendly, usually one. But if they do change, it's usually like not into another full dress that they purchased at a bridal salon. It's not another dress that they paid $2,500 for. Instead, it's a fun white summer dress that they are comfy in and can party in all night long.
I've also seen like a jumpsuit, like a white pants and a tank top. I've seen people go into sweatpants and a sweatshirt, and that sounds like the best idea.
Okay, we want to hear from you. What is the most interesting or crazy thing you've seen at a wedding lately? 1-800-716-2221 or email us bluesky@cbc.ca. Maybe you recently got married or you're planning a wedding and you have some thoughts. Again, that number 1-800-716-2221 or email us bluesky@cbc.ca. Okay. We talked about we're still talking about clothing because we were talking about how many dresses. I wanted to talk to you about footwear. Because there was a time that all the women wore very uncomfortable pumps that were dyed to match their dress, and the men were expected to wear very shiny black shoes that matched their very uncomfortable suits. I had a gentleman say to me during a rehearsal a couple weeks ago, "Hey, have you guys tried on the weighted blankets they're calling our suit jackets?" And I laughed so hard because the thing about summer wedding season is that in Saskatchewan, you might be factoring in a 30-degree day. In terms of footwear, though, what are you seeing in terms of trends? Are people moving towards sneakers or flats or more comfortable shoes?
Yeah, I think especially for the ladies, they're all looking at flats, dressy sandals, something that's comfortable, right? You're hot. It's going to be a long day. You're walking around a lot, taking pictures. And who wants to be walking around in stilettos? Not to mention in stilettos or high heels, they sink into the grass and they get all gross, covered in mud anyways. So I think I love the idea of a comfy flat shoe. And I mean, for, bride and bridesmaids or even the gentlemen, change into runners. Absolutely. When it comes to dance time, you want to be as comfortable as possible.
Okay, let's talk vendors because we were talking about that earlier and I squirreled. What are some of the new and interesting vendors that you're seeing people trend towards?
I think it's all about interaction with guests. So one of the biggest things that I've seen this year is tattoo artists. So, much like you would have a photo booth, but now you have a tattoo artist on site. So they will come for, 4 or 6 hours during the reception, and they'll do flash tattoos. And they will get as many done on as many people as they can within that time slot. So just new, unique, cool things for guests to participate in.
What about food?
Oh, lots of interactive food carts. So I've seen things like, dirty soda bars, which is kind of the same thing that Lana was saying for mobile mixers. They come in with an actual physical bar trailer. So I've seen that.
What is a dirty soda for people who don't know?
Dirty sodas are the best word to is like an Italian soda. So, you get it's carbonated water with different types of flavoring in it, and they can customize it for you. So that's kind of a cool trend. I've seen people come in with a pancake cart, right? So they can have an evening lunch with pancakes. People coming in with mini donut carts, those types of things. So lots of fun food and interactive things for people to do.
And in that way, it keeps them entertained in a different way too, right?
Absolutely, because who doesn't love mini donuts?
What's the most interesting vendor you've seen someone bring in?
It's not specifically a human that they bring in, but something that I love is the audio guest book. So there's a lot of companies now, but they're basically just an old phone that's attached to an audio recorder, and people leave you messages as if it's a voicemail machine. And I think that's one of the most special new things that's popped up in the last couple of years, just to kind of capture the people that have been
Especially
at your...
if it's a grandparent or something where you get to have
or
that
a little
vocal.
kid, you get to hear how their voice changed, those kind of things. I've also I haven't seen it in person yet. I hope I get to one day, but the on-site painters or cartoonists that draw the cartoon of your guest as a little token, as your little...
As a favor?
Yeah, as your favor. I think that's a fun little thing to take away. Not everybody wants the shot glass with the names of the couple on it, but a little portrait of yourself would be super fun.
Are people still doing favors, like putting, the little chocolate bag or the almonds? You know what I'm talking about, the candied almonds?
Yeah, very, very few people do physical wedding favors. And if they are doing physical wedding favors, it is not an itemized gift. I always tell people do something that's edible or usable, because otherwise people, how many coffee cups and shot glasses and random candles do you need? So I always tell people do something edible that's fun. I've seen people that have made their own honey, olive oil, right? Something that's edible that they can take home and use is kind of the best option if they want to go that route.
Seeds for plants.
Of course, yeah.
Things I've seen are temporary tattoos. One couple did a temporary tattoo of their dog, and you could take home that. I've seen matchbooks, which I think were pretty popular.
Oh yeah,
but
when my parents got
I think
married.
those are coming back, which those are handy to have around the house. And yeah, I think I'm trying to think. People also are giving away the centerpieces. Take home the vase with the flowers in it. Someone on your table take it home, so I don't have to take it home.
It's one less thing for you to take down at the end of the
Yeah.
night. Okay, let's go to the phones. Dale is on the line in Wynyard. Hi, Dale.
Oh, hi. Yes, I wanted to tell about what I think was one of the best weddings I ever had, my nephew's wedding, and all of my siblings attended, so it was also a big family reunion for us. But the bride had always wanted to have a Sleeping Beauty wedding cake. Now, you may have to Google that. You just need to Google Sleeping Beauty wedding cake, and you'll see what I mean, except that in this case, I think there were 8 different layers, and it looked like they were all going to fall off.
Oh, wow.
It was just a real hoot, and so much fun to watch them try to cut it and give everybody pieces. But they did.
Oh, okay. I think we lost her there. I'm wondering, do you mean Alice in Wonderland?
No.
No, you
when
do
I
mean...
looked up, it's
called the Sleeping Beauty cake. Alice in Wonderland cakes are similar, where they're very lopsided and topsy-turvy.
Yes. Yeah, that's true, too. But
what was the best part of the wedding for you, other than that beautiful cake?
Oh, I think the fact that it didn't rain. We had it was outdoors. It was beautiful setting in among pine trees in a slight. The front of the audience was down compared to the rest of us, and it threatened. You could just feel a touch of rain, and it all stopped for the ceremony. And I also liked that the groomsmen and the bridesmaids could select whatever they wanted to wear, but it had to meet a color code of the bride. So you couldn't, if you were the person that she wanted to wear a bronze-colored dress, then that's what you needed.
Oh, that's really cool. Thanks so much for sharing that, Dale.
A very colorful group of people.
I imagine. Thanks so much for sharing that with us.
Okay, thank you for taking it.
Angela, are weddings for the couple or are they for the community?
Well, that's a touchy subject. So, I mean, the wedding is all about the couple. However, when you invite 150 people, you are creating a party for your family. So, I mean, it's about both, if we're being completely honest. And while it's all about the couple and how they want things to run, we also have to factor in the comfort of the 150 people that you are inviting to your special day.
What is the one thing that you wish people would stop doing?
Oh, I mean, I'm not a photographer, but blurry photos. I know that this is a trend. I know that, and I know that people are like, blurry photos, la, la, la. But here's the thing. Anybody can take a blurry photo. I can just shake my phone and take a picture of you, and you can have that for free. And I know blurry photos are like this huge trend, but I mean, like, if I'm paying a handsome fee for a photographer, I want ones that are in focus. That's just personal opinion.
My advice is hire the photographer that can take a good, clear, crisp photo and will add in the blurry photo as an artistic addition, not the person who takes blurry photos.
Fair.
Because every once in a while, a fun little blurry shot is like a really good way to show movement or just the atmosphere of the day. But I agree. You don't want a gallery full of blurry photos. You want a gallery full of photos that you can actually see and remember and understand what's in them.
Let's talk about, since we're talking about photography, let's talk about the unplugged ceremony, because some people really feel strongly about it. Others don't care. I have, in one instance, threatened that the photographer would Photoshop a chicken into everyone's hands that was holding a phone that showed up in the pictures, and they put their phones down real quick. But how common is it now to have people say, could you just not take a picture during the wedding and let the photographer do it?
It's a lot, and the reason it stemmed is because people don't understand that they get in the actual photographer's way because they become obtrusive. And it's really not, the person that's sitting off to the side and taking a phone or taking a picture with their phone is really, it's really not a big deal, but it's the person who's in the aisle and they stick their phone out while the couple's walking down the aisle and impeding the shot of the actual photographer. So I think that's what it majorly stemmed from, is that people just aren't, they don't think before they do. They just want to get their own photo and they don't understand.
Well, and the thing that I've noticed too, though, is if you're so concerned about getting that great photo, you're really not paying attention to the ceremony and what's happening, which is the reason that you've been invited there in the first place. As a photographer, how do you feel about it?
I appreciate it. I appreciate when people do have an announcement saying, please don't take pictures during this. There's people that are here to do that. But I also don't really mind. I also like to sneak the photo over the shoulder of the person who's taking a picture with their phone and take a picture of what they're seeing through their phone. It's just like a complete different perspective on the day. Sometimes I also am like, okay, well, if that uncle is taking a picture with his phone, I'm going to take a picture of him taking a picture so that the couple knows that he wasn't following the rules.
When it comes to paying for these things, we know that some people have made headlines because they charge people to attend their wedding. It's not super common. I have never seen it happen, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't. But we do see some couples do cabarets or fundraisers for their wedding. In other provinces, these are called socials. Have you seen, Angela, in terms of planning, these things come factored into the budget?
No.
Not in Saskatchewan.
Not in Saskatchewan. It's not a trend in Saskatchewan. That doesn't mean that it doesn't happen. Certainly couples do that, but it's not a trend in Saskatchewan. I do find it really popular in Manitoba, where they'll have like a wedding social 1 year before. And it's almost basically like a second wedding, which makes me giggle, like a really expensive engagement party where they're fundraising for their wedding. But I've always had the belief that if you want to have a celebration, then, your guests shouldn't be paying to come to your celebration. So
Do engagement parties factor into wedding planning for you?
Not a lot. A lot of people will plan their own engagement parties, or it's usually done by friends and family. That's not to say that I haven't done it, but if they are looking for an engagement party, it's usually something a little bit more extravagant.
Okay. Is there anything we haven't touched on that you were like, I was dying to talk about this one thing and I didn't have that? What about trash the dress? Are people trashing their dresses?
I've seen it once, but not very popular. I think people like to keep them clean and sell them or keep them for people. I think the only thing I would leave people listening with is just that, kind of going back to the beginning, like, it's your day. It is also for your guests and stuff, but just don't lean into what the world tells you should have. Make your day the day that you want it to be.
Last word from you.
Yep, I would say probably the same thing. Do your wedding your way and, have fun. It's what it's all about. Doesn't matter how much money you spend.
Amanda Hodel from Imagine Events, Caitlin Schroep, photographer in Lumsden. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.